I'm a Monsignor Vietnamese. Me and my father and my family go to USA back in 1999. ICE picked me up and I get deported back to Vietnam back in 2017. It's the worst when I was in the plane because my mind is not in the plane. My mind is like, why I'm here? You know, why my family is not with me? You know, I hadn't get a chance to spend time with them. Since I get deported, I was wishing that I can, hug them, grab them before I get deported, but I didn't get that chance. So, first time. It's the feeling that I never experienced before. It's time to go see my wife, my kids. It's been 7 years. Don't know what to say. The reason I'm afraid to see them, to meet them, like I'm nervous and stuff like that, because of that. Because I don't want them like, hey, Dad, why you not there and support Mom and us and stuff like that. You know, I just don't want to hear that. I just want to know what I missed out from their life. You know. Still looking for a job that I can support myself and help family as well. Try to save like little penny that I had. Try to help my wife as well. And my mom getting old too, my dad getting old too. Have nobody to take care of them over there in the United States. Yep, life without family sucks. Yep, got like 52 more minutes. Wow, this is so long. The closer it gets, the faster heartbeat beating. Wow, got a crazy feeling. I know. Every minute the heartbeat. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. My lawyer, Antin, I look at him just like a brother. Every time I needed him, and he helped me.
To see like Chuh and Rex go through these challenges and still be together, still love each other, still have that hope, it's really beautiful. I know that the love is strong, and I have hope that they end up together.
They got that gut feeling, almost like shit yourself. That feeling, that like so, like oh snap, you waiting, and next thing she just appeared in front of you. Wow, that feeling, man, it's great. It's a great feeling, man.
The older ones are teenagers, right?
Yeah.
Leanne and...
Oh, she hate me. The older one, she hate me a lot. She super hated me. Nah, I think she say I abandoned her. Personally, she say that to me on the phone.
How old is she?
It's like turning 13. She just turned 13.
Yeah.
That's like a...
It's hard for them to understand, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. When she say that, man, it feel like I want a freaking knife stab into my heart.
Yeah.
But I still fighting. I ain't gonna surrender. I ain't gonna throw the white flag in the air yet. I'm still fighting every minute. Hey, baby, where you at? Oh, that's them right there. Right there, at the door. I love you, baby. Oh, come here, Papa. All right. Ah, no. How was the play, baby?
Because I got bleed on the beginning.
Yeah?
I got bleed right here. I got bleed right here.
Oh, yeah? Oh, you got bleeding?
Yeah, because I take all hot water.
Oh, yeah? So you guys have fun? Love you so much, babe. I'm so excited, man. I don't know, the nervous make me want to cry because I can't experience you. Okay. Right here. 1, 2, 3, cheese. One more, okay? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, Bojangles. Okay, here you go. Back in 1999, I was 13 years old. I didn't know that I was going to come to America. It started with my father. He was the U.S. military back in the Vietnam War from 1964, I believe, until like 1975. But until then, he's still working with the U.S. Government. And that's how me and my father and my family go to USA.
Tough, muscular, a skilled hunter and woodsman, a man of great personal courage, the Montagnard holds the key to a strategically vital area of Southeast Asia. If he can be won to the government's cause and given the training and equipment to resist communist terrorism, the guerrillas' jungle sanctuary in the Vietnamese highlands will disappear.
So we met Chuh through this being in the community as a grassroots organization. So we do a lot of talking to people who have orders of removal to try to figure out if there's something that we can do to support.
North Carolina has the largest community of Montagnards outside of Southeast Asia. We have always been in the Central Highlands of Vietnam, and we're just ethnically different from the Vietnamese. U.S. Special Forces recruited our folks to find the war just because we had knowledge of the Central Highlands, the area where the Ho Chi Minh Trail was, which is how the North Vietnamese were supplying in the South. After the war ended, there were some folks that kept on fighting. When the U.S. went back, there were promises that we should just keep on fighting and that the U.S. would send more supplies. A lot of our elders stayed in the jungle for about 14 years, fighting a war that already ended because the Paris Accord was already signed. And then we were left to face like the consequences of us believing that we would get freedom or get our land back. And that wasn't the case. Our folks were placed in a re-education camp and we were persecuted and our land was taken away.
Vietnamese, to be honest, like back in the day, Vietnamese called us like monkey people. So that's called like, like người thượng. So it's a real bad word, but it's like we don't like the way they call us that way. So because we are the Montagnard, we are the same people.
A lot of people, including Chuchi's family, fled, but his dad was one of the unlucky ones that got caught And so he was arrested and had to be in the re-education camp for 9 years before having the ability to come to the United States, only because of the orderly departure program.
When I was young, it's really great. I have a lot of fun. I have a lot of friends. But until the age I was like, start 14, and that's when I start hang out with the wrong crowd and don't go to school, skip school. When I was having struggling, financial with my family, and I tried to do work full-time job and as well as part-time job, and then it's still not enough to support my family. So when I hang out with the people that doing drug and try to sell this and sell that and try to make a little bit money just at the party, I think that was a cool thing to do.
The resettlement programs in the US put refugee families into specific neighborhoods. Often they were neighborhoods that were under-resourced already, where the communities already there were already facing high policing, under-resourced schools. School to prison pipeline was already thriving in the 80s, late 80s and the 90s. So Southeast Asians were put into these communities that were already struggling because of lack of attention from the government. So what you have is people getting into trouble oftentimes, sometimes when they're young.
Everyone make a mistake. Everyone in their life is doing a bad thing. Every human that live in this world, it's not nobody is perfect. We know that we are criminal, but at the same time, we have heart, and we just want to do the right thing after we do our time.
Now it's like the United States of amnesia. People don't remember the war. They'll remember why these adults now had to come when they were younger. And as a result, there's just this focus of just sending them back.
That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before.
We're going to expedite the legal process to cut the average deportation time. And the State Department, along with the White House, is going to continue to work with governments to say, look, we want you to take these folks back.
And that's why we're going to keep focusing enforcement resources on actual threats to our security. Felons, not families. If you're a criminal, you'll be deported.
But we're taking people out of the country. You wouldn't believe how bad these people are. These aren't people. These are animals.
We always wanted to get married. It's not like it's a new thing, because when we had our first child, we already knew that to him, I was his wife, and then to me, like he was my husband. So we already had that in our head. It wasn't like we were just boyfriend, girlfriend. So, I mean, like, it's just making it official, I guess.
I think we met each other back in 1999, the end of back 1999. That's the first time I met her at her cousin house. I usually play with her brother first.
Yeah, we were just playing together. He was 12.
I was 13 at that time. I was
12,
13.
13.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was 10.
You know, we was kids. So.
He wanted to be a priest, but he asked her out.
Not a priest.
Yeah.
Like I think like a deacon, was it?
Yeah, like
Not
a deacon. So.
A deacon.
She was dissing me 3 times when I asked her out. I mean, I went through a really hard time to ask her out. I go through the phone, call her dad, and her dad be dissing me out. And then she said, "Why you calling my daughter?" And then I'd be lying to her dad and said, "Can I talk to her brother?" And after I talked to her brother, and her brother knew that I was gonna, talk to her, so her brother called her up and talked to her.
Her little sister, and then her older brother talked her into giving her.
The wedding was fun. It was very Montagnard. I am part of Rangao in Sudan. He is Sudan. The husband and wife shared wine together, and so they made it especially for the husband and the wife, and they're supposed to drink that together. We enjoyed it. It was fun. The love for him that I have is still inside me. When I talk to him, I get butterflies. I don't need to have another person to make me happy.
Every day I'm trying to talk to my wife on the phone. When I'm talking to her on the phone, I feel like she's still beside me every day. It doesn't matter where I'm at, how far or how near. I'm always beside you guys, and I still love you guys every day, every single day. But just don't think that I'm far from you guys. It means that I'm left you guys behind. It's not. I'm still here, and I'm still fighting for it. I get used to spend time with my daughter. For 1 month, they always all up on me and hugging me, talk to me, and especially my little one. She always whining and she always comes to me. We don't want our kid to miss out, who their mom is, who their dad is. Because I don't want my kid to be like, "Oh, I don't know my dad, and I don't know who my dad is." It's the worst. This is what everybody tired. Jolie, say goodbye to Kontum.
Goodbye, Gontu.
We see you again.
We see you again.
We're going to America.
We're going to America.
Blah blah. But anyway, it's gonna be a sad day at the same time. The whole family going back to see that went back to America. I'm gonna be by myself there. So. You gonna stay with Daddy? Huh? You wanna stay with Daddy? Love you, baby. See them, it's excitement. It's like it's like smile go through my face, my eye, and so now that they're not gonna be with me shortly, so yeah. It's like the whole world dropped down. That's all I can say. And I love my family a lot. I don't know. We'll see what it will be tomorrow. Can't really say enough.
When we were at the airport, the youngest one, like we already went to get our boarding pass, and then her dad wasn't coming. So she was like, come on, Dad, come on. But he said, no, you go ahead. When we kept walking, she just stopped. And then she ran back to her dad. And she was like, let's go. We got to go. I feel like a family should be together and not be like, you know, like how we are. To have us far apart like this, it's unhealthy for my kids. My daughter said, she said that, you know, the most painful thing is that you have your dad, but you can't see your dad, or you can't see your dad, or you can't hug him, or, you know, talk to him like every day, like, you know, not just at the time that he calls, but like, you know, like having conversations throughout the day, and you can't hug him or, you know, tell jokes or whatever it is. He can't bring you like to go. That's worse than your dad being dead, because when your dad's dead, then you can't do anything with him anymore. You know it. But he's alive and he's far. There's no end to where it is just not hard. I mean, everything was just harder on my life. Before he was locked up, he was working 2 jobs to support me and the kids, and I would be working part-time. I just try the best I can. You can't just drop everything because something is not right. You just have to keep on going, because I got to do it.
Mommy, why you don't share?
Well, I do pray. I know that some people is like, what's the point of praying, because it never comes, but you know, you have to have that. You have to have faith and, you know, and hope.
I have a little bit of trouble when I'm arrived here. For me to able to get my Vietnamese resident ID card, I had to pay the Vietnamese government a lot of money. It's like a fresh off the boat. Everyone laughed at me because my accent, the way I speak, is not really clear as the Vietnamese people here. I feel real tough to live here in Vietnam. It took me almost a year and a half to find a job. Tao thấy hai em không làm phụ gì hết vậy? Trời, có mà. Giỡn hoài chú. I call myself, I'm a hard worker, you know. I don't hang out a lot. I'm just like, you know, go to work, go home, go to work, go home. It's really hard for me to sit alone by myself, especially like at nighttime, because I get used to spend time with my daughter like for 1 month. You know, I always cry every night by myself. So just looking at my kid picture, like, just feel lonely. I really enjoyed, you know, to watch all of them send me a video, because it's keep my day. I don't know what they're doing, probably they're honestly dancing and stuff. I just like this video. I can be there and, you know, just like dance with them. I will try my best to fight my case so that way I can solve my kid and let them know that, not giving up on them. And I would do anything just to be there for them and to support them.
I want you all to know that we are the Southeast Asian community united as part of the National League of Africans.
So the protest is also let everyone know that deporting people is break family apart. I would love to give out one of my speech that I wrote, and I hope everyone that can hear my word can change everyone's heart.
Separated by thousands of miles, deportation has affected many lives.
I'm one of them. Being so far away from my kid, my wife, and my family has made me a lonely person. I am a father, but yet so far from my beloved daughter. I am a husband, but yet so far from my wife. I'm a son of a Tony and a child wife, and also far from them. The life that I have here is difficult and dangerous. It is totally different from what I am used to in North Carolina. Ever since I was deported, I have been emotionally and mentally hurt by the pain of being so far away from your loved one. With the protests going on about the deportation of the Vietnamese people, honestly, I feel that separate by force of family is wrong and that it should not continue. As for me, my case has ceased and I don't even know when I will be able to come back to reunite with my daughter, my wife, my parents, and my family. I can only walk this lonely road and share my emotion, hoping others won't stop deportation at once. And I continue to praise, and hopefully one day I will reunite with my family and my wife. And I thank you for everything that everyone has supported me.
Thank you for listening to Chuh's story.
The reason why I'm fighting for my case, even I'm here in Vietnam, because I believe that in the future, that I still have a chance to be with my kid, with my wife and my mom. So I do what it takes, to fight and to get my case to reopen it again. I'm not giving up yet. I'm a fighter.
Happy Valentine's, sweetheart. I love you.
Just for Daddy.
Just for Daddy.
I love you very much.
And she wrote me a Valentine, say, "Dear beloved, this is our 18th Valentine that we have shared. Whether we are apart or far, we started very young, and I hope that we will stay together forever, just you and me, like the two birds in their home. Thank you for loving me even when I could make things hard. Please continue to love me like I have always loved you, and forever and always. And forever and always."
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight with our question and answers interview on the documentary Fighting for Family, directed by Lang Nguyen. This is for the Vietnamese American Roundtable's Black April event for this Friday, April 30th. We'll go ahead and thank everyone for being here and taking the time to be with us and sharing your stories and your journeys with us. I'll introduce myself and then I'll have our guests introduce themselves after. My name is Mimi Nguyen. I am a board member for the Vietnamese American Roundtable, and I am also a nonprofit immigration attorney here in San Jose, California. And I will hand it off to Lan for her intros.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lang Nguyen. I am the director of Fighting for Family. I am a filmmaker, an educator, and a community organizer, and I'm really excited to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you. And Chuchi, you're up next.
Hey everyone, my name is Chuh. Actually, my real name is Chuh, and I'm really happy to be here with everyone, and I'm looking forward and to see everyone on the same page. And I'll pass to my wife.
Hi everybody, my name is Rex Nye, and Chuchi is my husband. He is one of the victims of deportation, and we are going through it.
Thank you for being on with us today. And I know it's like really hard to talk about deportation and what your family's going through, and you're in a very vulnerable place, and really we're truly honored for you to be sharing this experience with us and with our community. So again, I appreciate it and thank you. So first I have Lan, a couple questions for you. Your documentary is so moving and really exudes so much personality of both Chuchi, Rex, and their family. Can you share a little bit about your background and what really inspired you to tell this story and in this way?
Thank you so much for your kind words about the film. I am just so thankful for Chuchi and Rex's generosity and bravery in sharing their story, not only with me, but really with the world. And I hope that folks who are watching the film appreciate that. And it's just such an honor to learn from your love and to be inspired by your family's fight. But in terms of my background, I dabbled in filmmaking and journalism and media throughout my life, and it was always a medium that I was really drawn to. And as I got politicized and I learned more about social justice issues, I was really interested in how we could utilize filmmaking as a tool for social change. And I saw that filmmaking had potential to really evoke emotion and change hearts and minds. And one of the quotes that always stands out to me, that always sticks in my mind when I do filmmaking, is from Maya Angelou. She says that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you make them feel. And that's really my goal with filmmaking, is to really evoke emotion so that we can change hearts and minds and make a difference. And for me, when I first got involved with learning about Southeast Asian deportation in 2017 with a group called V Unity through a training called Hai Ba Trung School of Training. And that was in 2017, and deportations have been going on for over a decade. And that was the first time that I personally learned about the issue. And I was just shocked that as a Vietnamese American who I thought I was active in the community, yet this was an issue that I didn't know about previously. And in talking with other community members, other people also weren't aware. So it was an issue that our own community wasn't aware about. And in talking to people about the issue, some people were hesitant to support ending deportation because many of the people who do get deported are people with criminal convictions. And I think that there's this misconception of what it's like to have a criminal conviction, right? Because many people are wrongly convicted and many people commit crimes for survival. There's many nuances that people don't see. And I really wanted to make this film to show what it's like to go through deportation and to really address those nuances of what it is like to have a criminal conviction. Oftentimes when people think about people with criminal convictions, they have these stereotypes. And I think, Chuh and Rex's story really works to break down those stereotypes. So I wanted to to change hearts and minds through Chuh and Rex's story. And I was really fortunate to be introduced to Chuh from Anthin, who is a lawyer that works with SEAC Village, an organization based in Charlotte, North Carolina. So from my organizing experience against Southeast Asian deportations, I had reached out to Anthin asking if he knew any folks who might be interested in participating. And he introduced me to Chuh and Rex. And yeah, the family has been so generous and so brave with their story. And I hope that together we can share this story and really help reunite Chuh with his family, and also hopefully make some policy changes and prevent this from happening to other families.
Thank you. You touch on a lot of really good points, and I think deportation in the Southeast Asian community is so taboo, especially when it comes to crimes and criminal convictions, or what deportation actually means. And a lot of families don't talk about it. We don't really learn about it. And then if anything does happen, it gets put on the hush hush, and it's like, swept under the rug. And so it's never publicized. We don't learn about it. And if we don't know about it, we can't really help fight against, mass deportation in the US back to Vietnam. And most people, when they come here, they're coming as refugees. They're coming and they're fleeing from persecution from Vietnam or other Southeast Asian countries, and it's just devastating that we don't talk about it. We don't know more about it unless you're in like the activist space, or that it happened to someone else. And then when you were talking about crimes and people having criminal convictions, there's this stigma where if you were convicted of a crime, or if you pled guilty to a crime, that you're a criminal or that you're a bad person. But one bad act or something that happened, whether it's for survival, doesn't define a person and who they are. And I think that's what people forget, like the humanity side of it. And I think your story really shows that it can happen to anyone, especially for most refugees who come into the United States. They're coming from a country that they're fleeing from. They're war-torn country, and they're here living in poverty. And we have the migration to school to prison to deportation pipeline that we're dealing with, that people don't know about. And people just get caught up into doing things to survive and to live. And most of these things happen as children, and they don't realize that it gets carried with them for the rest of their lives. And when you have an administration who is targeting certain groups of people, that these group of people can be torn and separated from their family. And that's kind of the situation that we're in with the Southeast Asian deportation. But I really appreciate you sharing Chuh and Rex's story, because now it sheds light and shows that this good happens to really good families, and how sad it is when you see the families being torn apart. So really, thank you for sharing that. I don't know if there's anything else that you wanted to comment or add on to any of that.
No, that was it. Thank you. Thank you for your kind words.
Awesome. So, Chuh, is it okay if we hop over to you and ask you a couple questions?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. So I guess my question for you is, I think a lot of people don't really know about Montagnards living, in Vietnam. How do you self-identify, and can you tell us a little bit about your experience as being Montagnard, born in Vietnam, and then living in the United States? What was that like for you?
Well, it means for me, if I identify myself as, Montagnard is like the highlands, like people that live in mountains, and they have different ethics. So I'm a Panara, Montagnard. I'm a Panara ethic, so it's located in Kon Tum area base. So it's between Montagnard in America, Montagnard here in Vietnam. They are completely different between those two, because here, Montagnard over here, that they follow by as a culture here in Vietnam, that they're really struggling about all the land and all that stuff, many things. So, because, Martin Yard in America, they don't see that. They don't see that point of view. They think that, oh, if we are Martin Yard, we have a good opportunity to be in America and stuff like that. Yeah, it's great for us to be there. Yes, it is great, but, you have to look at this way. The Martin Yard here, everyone is struggling every day, try to survive, try to stay away from the VC and, other, politics and stuff like that. Because, mostly it's like, it's life this is about life, but, it's really great to be over there in the United States in America, like living a life that, that, can have a support by the government and stuff like this. Because, the Martin Yard here in Vietnam, they don't have that support, if you pretty much like this, you're on your own. If they took your land, you're doomed. You don't have anything to survive. So you just live in a struggle life each and every day. So that's what I look at myself point of view of as a Martin Yard. Because, I'm born here and, I live here almost half of my life as well. And, I think, that my dad was, part of the United States Army and, brought us to the United States and to find us a way, a better life and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's what I identify myself as because I'm still my bloodline is still here in Vietnam, but but each and every day I always think about, this is not, that's not what my life I want to be living because over here because since my dad was, part of the U.S. military and stuff like that, because they think that I am part of the Martin Yard American. So that's why that's why I have a problem at that point, because it's not a fun thing to call myself just like a Martin Yard, Barnard or other things. I always call myself as a Barnard. That's it, because I identify myself as a Barnard. I don't consider it like a Martin Yard because Martin Yard is many other things. Because people, mix it up like they think me like, oh, Martin Yard, they're gonna think I'm a Degar and they're gonna think I'm Jarai or Rade, stuff like that. So that's why I identify myself as Barnard.
And that's Manat. I think you're on mute.
But Barnard, I don't know how to pronounce like the Vietnamese call it Bana, and then Martin call it Barnard. It's part of like the Rangao, Stang, stuff like that.
Got it. So there's just smaller groups within Montagnard, and is that right?
Yes, correct. It's like a small group. They have a small group of many other villages as well, different dialect speaking and stuff.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense. So I know you mentioned that your dad was in the U.S. Army and then, he fled for a better life and opportunities for your family in the United States. Moving to the United States, like, did you ever feel like you fit in the United States coming here and knowing that, your dad fought for the U.S.? How was your experience in the United States?
Man, when I first got in the United States, it's really hard. I'm really happy because it's so different. Like different life and different culture and stuff over there because everyone is mixed up. And and I'm my dad was part of the U.S. military because he knew that life in Vietnam is going to be hectic. It's going to be really struggling because. That's why when he brought us to the United States, I was so happy. I was so excited because especially like the food, the life, and it's many things. Because a lot of people over there they teach you and they show you how the care is, the generous that they shown us when we first landed in the United States. So since then, I started going to school and started learning many things. But and yes, I caught myself up in the bad situation, but I always look at this point of view like life in America is like it's like really, 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 really helped me me out, let me learn many other things as well. So I fit in the United States like more than I like over here because no one is bother me over there in the United States. Nobody, I don't have a struggle life over there, But now, when I go back to Vietnam and I see life here is really struggling because without a family and without any other support and stuff like that from the government and so that's why I like this is not it's not where I want to be here in Vietnam. Like, I think that's my homeland is like it's over there in the United States because I don't consider the town called Vietnam as my homeland anymore because I'm already get used to that culture over there in the United States, and then I already and besides I don't have family here in Vietnam. I don't have nobody.
So it sounds like life in Vietnam for you is pretty rough, and it sounds a little bit lonely as well. Since you've
It's lonely, and then I have to deal with this crazy police department, and I have to it's just because I have to dip them down, because of my dad passed, my dad got work for the U.S. Army. Because in the Kontum area, my dad was, before he was the leader of like song, like that's the reason why the government over here they always ask me about my dad. They always come to me and bother me about the question that they asked my dad before, what my dad doing, what he this and that. So I just don't want to tell them. That's why I just stay far from them. So yeah, it's life over here is it's not for me, man.
It sounds pretty rough. Like when you are telling us that you don't have anyone there, and your wife and your children, your 4 daughters are all in the United States. And from the documentary, you're just watching videos of them and trying to catch them at different times of the day. And Vietnam and the U.S. are on such different. We're on the opposite end of the world, and the times it's so different. How are you navigating with that, and how are you coping with being so far from your family and being separated from them?
At first, now I want to thank you to social media, Facebook and stuff, to connect me and my wife face to face with my kids and stuff. That's how, But if we can go back in the 1999, if we don't have social media, I don't know how me and my wife and the kid can connect it. But yeah, But I also thank my wife that keeping both of us, our relationship strong. That she always calling me each and every night before I go to sleep. And, she always. Anyway, she always want to connect me with my kid.
Thank you for sharing that. Your love is so strong, and we can all feel it from the documentary, and even right now, just from talking to you. How you guys are surviving and going through this is it shows us how much love you guys have for each other and for your family. And thank you for just being so vulnerable and allowing us to kind of see this love shine through. We'll give you a break and hop over to Rex and ask her some questions. Rex, are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Awesome. So you have been a really strong force for your family, and a really strong foundation for Chuchi as well, supporting your children and being there for your children. Can you tell us how the deportation has impacted your family, and how the separation from your husband has been for you?
I mean, honestly, anybody who's been separated from their family should know, like how everything feels, because I mean, even if you love your family and, like your husband or your wife have to go and work far away, you still miss your husband or your wife. And I'm pretty sure the kids would miss their father or their mother. And if they were to think having the government send your husband or your wife or your father or your mother to another country where it's hard for you to see them, I mean, it's just heartbreaking. I don't know. It's like they're trying to have us develop some bipolar or some schizophrenic attitude, like depression. It hurts. I mean, it's, I mean,
Yeah, it's we can feel how much hurt your family is going through, and it's hard, and I like people shouldn't be separated from their family in this way, and um for you to have to watch how lonely Tucci is in Vietnam, and that he can't be there to celebrate with your family and your children, and you guys have 4 extremely beautiful daughters that might not fully grasp and understand the gravity of what has happened, or the process that Chuchi's going through. How has your daughter's life changed when the U.S. decided to break up your family? What's that experience like for them, or what are they telling you that's going through their heads? I know in the documentary some of it was mentioned, but it probably was like a huge shock at the beginning. Can you tell us about that progression and where they are now? So I mean, like, just any story in particular, since you have 4 daughters.
so in the beginning, I guess it's because I raised my kids to be tough, so they don't really show any expression. But when we had our tickets paid for to go visit their dad, my oldest daughter told me, because we sat down and she talked to me, and she was like, the hardest thing is having a father, and he's far away, like he's dead, but he's not dead, that she can't talk to him, and she has her friends who have their dad and their family. And so, I mean, I know that it's hard for them because I'm their mom, so I know, but I can't really, I don't know what other way to tell them other than the fact that we just have to keep our hopes up. I mean, that's about it. And I mean, they don't want to keep, I guess they're trying to control it, but deep down inside, it's like uncontrollable. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Basically, I would say it's a type of depression. And then for my youngest daughter, she just wants to, like, right now, she's telling me, when are we going to go see dad? She just wants to up and leave America and go live over there.
So it seems like they're all kind of going through something a little bit different, but they all love their dad so much that they miss him, and they deal with it in different ways, is what it sounds like. And I can't imagine like how hard it is, especially for your oldest daughter to say, it's comparing it to having a dead parent, but not knowing that they can't see that parent anymore, but knowing that her dad's there, but he can't physically share in in on these experiences with your family. That sounds like she's coming from a place of a lot of hurt, and she might not really understand that that's not a choice that Chuchi's making, but it's something that you guys are still trying to work on this process, right? How are you doing? Like, how are you surviving without your husband, your partner, the love of your life? Like, what has that been for you? Like, and holding down the fort while, he's there.
I feel like I developed some kind of bipolar. I'm telling you, it's hard. Sometimes I'm a different person. Other times I'm another person. My daughters, they see that when I'm upset or whatever, they know. It's just like now as they get older, it's harder to hide things, I guess. But I mean, for me as a mother to juggle both dad and mom, for my kids, it is hard. Because I can tell you that when they were much younger, I had to sacrifice my time with them, and I had to go to work and school. And so I didn't get to see them until like really late. And the oldest one, like, they don't really know the sacrifice that I had to go through because they said that I wasn't there. So working from morning to nighttime, like 8 p.m., they're already in bed, but like you can't really spend time, especially if you're working like Monday through Saturdays. So now it's like I'm just trying to take it like easy because my kids need me and I need them.
So it sounds like you've made a lot of sacrifices to support your kids and still be a part of their life and really raise them to be loving, kind, compassionate human beings. Like we see that in you and we see that in Chuchi, and I'm sure we're going to see that in your children as well. So kudos to you guys for doing a great job under the extremely difficult circumstances that you guys are in. Like a lot of people, I can tell you, probably wouldn't even survive their relationship with their partners, probably wouldn't be able to raise their children the way that you guys did and are still doing. So that says a lot about you and how strong you both are in keeping your family unit together. And I think that's really important. And when you say like, you feel like there's some bipolarness in you, and I think that's human to feel all of these different emotions and to share that with us. We're very honored for you to be so vulnerable and open to sharing these experiences. It's not easy, but we can see how strong you both are, to still be fighting this and fighting for each other and fighting for your family. And that's why Lan's title to her documentary is just so perfect, because it encompasses all of this. And we see that you guys are still fighting and that you guys still love each other. But thank you for sharing that part of your life with us. It's truly, truly inspiring to see this type of love. But we'll give you a break and move back to your husband. And thank you for sharing with us that part. So, just with sacrifices and love, we do want to just, keep talking about how we're all really just so interconnected, and we're a community of people, and to see each other as, back on go to back, and we're all just a big family and a big community of people, and we want to be able to support you guys. And that's why like Black April and seeing the community come together and sharing their stories is so important to us, even 40 something years after the war and the fall of Saigon. We can still come back, share stories, and learn and grow and move on from it, right? It's beautiful in a way. And so thank you for that. So Chuchi, we're gonna pop it back to you. You're currently going through the legal process still, and I know that you're trying to go through some post-conviction relief. And for folks that don't really understand what has happened, just a little bit of background on the legal side. So there's a conviction that Chuchi pled guilty to without knowing the consequences, the immigration consequences tied behind that. And we see this a lot within our community. So oftentimes people, when they're told to take a guilty plea, being, limited English speakers, they don't understand what that means, whether there are immigration implications that are tied to it, what consequences come along with it. Most people are told, you don't have to do time in jail. You'll get to go right back home to your family if you just plead guilty. And they do, and they don't realize that, you might do a little bit of time, but you leave and you're under the order of supervision and that your status can be taken away from you. Or you leave jail or prison and then ICE picks you up right away and you don't really have time to process all of this. And you can be deported from that. One way of stopping the deportation proceeding is going through post-conviction relief, or in Chuchi's case, one way of stopping his deportation order or making it invalid is by going through this post-conviction relief, meaning getting the original conviction to be vacated for whether, in unconstitutional reasons or changes of law or new evidence that shows that a person that was wrongfully convicted, or there wasn't enough evidence to convict a person. So it sounds like, Chuchi, you're trying to get post-conviction relief to get your plea vacated, and it sounds like you're trying to get it vacated on the grounds of not being advised on the immigration consequences. Is that right? Okay, and then as far as that's going, I know that it's still an ongoing legal matter, but where in that process are you with that post-conviction relief?
Well, on that, my brother Peter, he's the one that taking, my case. And he have another colleague that, also working on my case as well. But on the process and stuff that at the moment, I don't know any, what's going on. So until Brother Peter let me know what has happened. Because right now they try to convince the DA, I believe that's what the last time I was receiving an email from Brother Peter. So we waiting on that right now. So hopefully, cross the finger that, the DA can accept that, that process, and so that way we can continue to working on our case. But pretty much right now it's like a patient and waiting situation. So it doesn't matter to me, wait many years, how many years, but, as long as me and my wife can be together with the kids and stuff. So, and it's a long process. That's what I understand that Brother Dean, that he have a lot of work to do and also many other things. So we just waiting for his signal, and then go from there. And because there's nothing that I can do here in Vietnam, or we just sit and wait, and hopefully that have a good news from the United States.
Yeah, and the post-conviction relief process, or even just like the criminal process alone, like there's a lot of inequity around it, especially like where you live. People who are charged on certain crimes from one county to another, and in the same state even, vary so much, and there's so much injustice around like the criminal justice system. And some counties are better at post-conviction relief than others, and it could take so long in one county in California and really quick in another. So it's really hard to say what that process is going to be like for you. And I'm just, we're all rooting for you and hoping that it's sooner rather than later. You've been separated from your family for far too long, and over something that happened as when you were so much younger, and it's really just not fair that you're kind of in this position now. And I'm just wondering, like, is there, how can we support you in this journey or this campaign, or is there anything that you would like to share with us in terms of what the community can do for you.
To be honest, like, for the community to do for me, I just want them to help, the young people, try to stay out of crime, try to get the citizen, tested and get citizen and stuff. So this for me is like, I just want to show myself, how, I don't want, other community, like, all the, our Asians, especially like Montyard, Vietnamese, or Cambodian, and Laos, any other Asian, I just don't want them to go through what I have to go through, because this the thing is like, I just want many, like, I had told Sister Cat before as well, try to, let the other, community know that, being, far away from the family, separate from family, it's not it's not a it's not a fun thing. It's not a game. It can lead to it's emotionally stressed and depressed and all that stuff. So that's why we can sit down with the community and talk to the young people and the other people that have been convicted, that they didn't get released from prison. Let them think twice about like before they get deported. Because try to fight as much as you can over there in the States, because you can't fight when you're back here. Because and this is why the video is about. Because if I don't want community to know about what's the reality like, that being separate from family, I'm not gonna do this video. So, I'm just I've risked my life just to do this video, just because and try to tell everyone over there like how it's like Vietnam, this and that, because if the government know about what I've been shown on my video and stuff like that, it considers as a crime as well, because they don't want you to talk about bad about Vietnam culture or Vietnamese government and stuff like that. So this is what I want the community to do, is to helping everyone else, try to be like over there in the States, and try to be with their family and stuff. I don't want them to be like me. It's had enough to be like, it's hard enough for me already, but I don't want to see another brother or a sister that just get deported and have a struggling life just like me. That's my that's my need. That's all I need.
And that's really like inspiring to hear, but also like very hard to hear, in a sense that you're making that sacrifice, and you've already been through this experience, and you're trying to help other people. It's really inspiring, and I'm pretty sure that's really hard for you to say, but that's why we try to fight for the families here as much as we can, so that they don't have to reach that point of being so far away and not being able, like, you don't feel like you have any control or any power over your own case anymore, and you're just trusting the people here to help you, and we're all doing our best and rooting for you. And I'm not sure if Lan wants to add anything about some of the campaigns that are happening. If you want to touch on any of that, Lan.
Yeah, I can share a little bit. So maybe later y'all can add in the description or in the chat a link to the GoFundMe that Chuh and Rex's family are putting on to help fundraise for their fees. So although Anthin is very generously helping pro bono, his colleague does have fees, and they're working on raising the fees for that. So if folks have the means, like, please donate to support this family and their reunification. Some other ways you can help as well on the policy level is that currently there is a bill that is being introduced to Congress called the New Way Forward Act that would do a variety of things. One of the things it would do is decrease the number of crimes that would be labeled as deportable offenses. So folks, currently right now, it's folks who get a conviction of 5 years or more that would be, currently right now it's a conviction of 365 days or more would be a deportable offense, and they're trying to move that so it's a conviction of 5 years or more. So less people would be eligible for deportation. And one of the really beautiful things that I don't know if this has ever existed in history before, but the bill is trying to create a pathway for reunification for people who have already been deported, to create a process for which they can apply to be considered to be reunited with their family in the United States. So right now I think the bill is waiting for more co-sponsors. So I really want to encourage everyone across the nation to contact your elected representatives and tell them about this bill, tell them how much this would help your community. And I think that it could give families like Chuh and Rex a chance to be reunited. Yeah, that's all I got.
Thank you, Lan. So I think that's pretty much all that we've had for this evening, but I would just like to give you all the opportunity to make any closing remarks that you might have, that you want to share with our community.
I can go first because I want to give Chuh and Rex the last word. But right now, I think in the United States, we're living through this moment of this movement of Stop Asian Hate. There's a lot of attention on physical violence against Asian Americans and a lot of attention on that, rightfully so. But I really want to encourage folks to think beyond physical violence and think about, just throughout the duration of this conversation, there have been so many examples of violence that Chuh and Rex's family has faced at the hands of the government, at the hands of our US culture, right? Like a mother having to work from morning till night every day of the week and not having to spend time with her family, that is violence against Asians. A father not being deported and not being able to see his family, that is violence against Asians. So right now, as there's a lot of attention on this issue, I want folks to think about expanding that and think about all the ways in which our communities face violence and to continue advocating for all these different things, for living wage, for immigration, for family reunification, because all these are examples of violence.
Rex, do you want to make any closing remarks?
I just want to say thank you for helping us share our story, helping us share it with other people and spreading it, because other people face it as well.
Yuchi?
I just want to say thank you for everyone, that helped us here, get this, film to, spread it out on the social media and stuff to let everyone know what it's like to be separated from family.